two.
No, in 1 minute.
Go. Oh. All right, ready.
All right. Wait, let me give you the ATX. All right. We are live. Welcome in to the CoreX stream. You could check us out on Kick. So if you're on YouTube or if you're on X right now, I would go over to Kick so you can get the full experience. Tap into the chat. We're also taking donations for questions if y'all want to throw that out there. But I just want to give a shout out. GG33, we're in this. Shout out Q app. You could find it on the Apple and Google Play Store or qwebapp.com. Use code CORE, that's code CORE, for 10% off on your membership. Today, before we get into it, because I know why y'all are here right now, this is the THIEL clavicular files. Web app. Shit has been unfolded recently and it's getting a little spicy, to say the less. The dude, John Bravo, he's been doing, I guess we could call them hit pieces or just kind of revealing people as they go through. He made a really good video a couple days ago and it's starting to get a lot of views. And we're gonna talk about that and tap into that soon. As you can see on the stream, I got the video up. But before we get into this whole thing, let's do a little debrief sponsored by the Q app. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about today's energy because there's a lot of talking that is going to be happening today because today is a 3 life path day. Check the date. So the main energy of today is 3. That's about communication. That's childlike energy. Now let's talk about the day that we're actually on. It is the 25th of April. And I'm going to tell y'all, this is like the perfect day to talk about this kind of stuff. That is like rabbit hole energy. And realistically, with the 25, it's a 7, right? We're going to go into deep knowledge, hidden things. And then you got the 5 on the back end of the 25, which can go into, I guess, a little bit of weird stuff, considering that Peter Thiel, he's part of the LGBTQIZXWRTN group, and we got the looks maxer himself, Clav. And I'm just saying, man, I did well in algebra, so 25 is 5 times 5. So there's a little bit more 5 energy going on, but let's talk about what y'all should do today after you finish up with the stream. If you haven't done it yet, spend some time with children and the people around you, especially people younger than you. That's what Peter Thiel is doing with his boy Clavicular, clearly. And try to meet new people, make new connections. So if this is your first time on the CoreX streams, you just tapped in. I'll tell you, this is not a good day to be a loner. Even though we have that 7 energy on the day, we're really looking at the life path of the day. And I would definitely watch out for some impulsive decision making. But with that being said, we get the energy. We understand where we're at. We are in 2026, the horse year. What does the horse do? Goes fresh out the gates, just like a streamer. So let's stream. We got the horse. All right, guys, let's get right into it. We're going to check out John Bravo's video. We're going to do some reactions. If y'all want to tap into the chat, go ahead, ask some questions. Mods, take care of that. Shout out to my mods, Cowboy, Ted. Y'all got this shit on lock. Let's see what John Bravo has to say.
How did this afford a $5 million club? He's been, streaming for 4 months. Yeah, he makes money on Kick. Yeah, he makes money on Stake, but still, how did he get a $5 million club, right? Well, I'm going to show you how. Because his friend, Energetic, was live streaming and in Clav's house. Clav walks in the door and he says, cut the camera, shut the camera off. Because he didn't want people to see who he was meeting with.
Alright. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Hold on, chat. Yes. This guy's jester maxing John Bravo. It says Clav Epstein. Okay.
Everybody say that I'm a fool.
How's the audio on the
He's a
video?
fool. Look at this asshole running around town like he owns the place, even though he's been telling everybody he does.
Appreciate it.
And look, he even found his own Peggy lookalike with the white outfit and even the lifted chucks. Except this asshole, he's got it.
Who is this asshole? How much hair gel do you think it takes to facilitate that? That's a little wild, bro. Oh man.
An afro. Who is this loser?
I'll just keep loving you.
He's saying he
This guy definitely looks like he's one of them boys, if you know what I'm saying.
owns this club, and it's the grand opening. But is it the truth? Or is he getting down on his knees for the real owner?
Oh shit.
You guys know Clav, right? That Jerry curled looking asshole who, you know, his real name is Braden Peters, which I think is a much better name for me. That Jerry curled
Wait, his name's Braden Peters. Peter Thiel. Jerry Kroll.
Braden? That sounds like the pussy that he is. Well, when I show you what he learned from Jack Epstein, that other piece of shit, you're going to start calling him Clav Epstein because he's becoming a bigger pimp and piece of shit than Jack himself. Remember when he first came on the scene, he was here to help boys, young boys, become better themselves, be better looking in order to pick up women, right? Well, in a deleted stream, he revealed his true intentions and
Now,
how
this
he's
is
willing
important.
to lie, to cheat, do unethical things, even maybe get down on his knees in order to get what he wants. And it turns out he's been trying to hide from the public what he's been really doing behind the scenes in order to make all that money. He doesn't want anybody to know. But you guys know me. I'm going to find it out. He's even been associating himself and doing business.
Real quick. Today's the 25th, right? Y'all see that right there? 52. Is that a coincidence? No, nothing is. Especially when you're talking to me. The 11.
Deals with some of the most dangerous people in the world in order to get what he wants, which is only one thing: money. Wait until I show you this shit.
Cash money. All right, let's see. Let's see.
All these are two sections. Are they get sold to? These two as well are the owners.
What did he say, guys? I didn't hear what he said. Is that gabapentin hitting?
They get sold to. These two as well are the owner's table. That's mine. That's high over there. Hey, tell her we'll be back in like a half hour, 45. Yep.
So like I was saying, you know, when Clav, we first saw him on the scene, he
Aura?
was preaching, you know, that he was here to help young boys maximize their looks, you know, lead a better life in order to pick up women. And he went on podcasts and he said,
Wait, let me tell you guys something. Okay, so if you saw the club, now just look at the little scroll bar right here. I'm not gonna go back, but can you see that hat that he was wearing? Can you see the name of the club? It's called Baccara. Baccara. Now in letterology, what does Baccara equal? That equals 17. Hold on. Is this another coincidence? Clavicular is born on the 17th. Do you think that was by design? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. All right, John, tell us what we got
crazy
next.
shit. You know, he said he wanted to punch his face with a hammer like an asshole, make his limbs, his legs longer to become taller, pretending he was going to get all those surgeries, which he never did. He said all those things and he did all those things, not because he meant them, but he did it to get famous. And, credit to him, because you know why? It worked. Fast forward today. You can't go online anywhere without seeing this asshole's face
60
plastered
minutes.
everywhere. I mean, look, if you deeply think about it, and I don't know how deeply you need to think about it, what is he famous for? Ask yourself that question. Being a drugged up kid willing to fuck up his entire life for fame and money? Well, in a recent stream, he disclosed exactly what his intentions were, and he didn't want people to see it, which is why you can't find it anymore.
But I'm wondering what your goal is currently.
At the end of the day, I wouldn't get on these streams and do this if it wasn't for money.
Yeah.
The reason I do my kick stream every single day, and I go to clubs and I drug myself to the point where I'm able to actually like interact in public. That shit is for money. It's like I'm not passionate about the fact that I'm basically a drug addict to do this shit. Okay, I want to stop doing this as soon as possible. It's so obvious, and anyone who's got a brain will say the same thing. So that's why I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, I do it for money. You know what I mean? People will do this shit trying to be a messiah. It's ridiculous. Everyone is in this for money.
Whoa, hold on. Okay. Hold on. Let me Yeah, so that was an important part of this. He had said something about like a messiah. And I mean, okay, I understand that. Like that was actually kind of a legitimate point. Like nobody can be a messiah. Like, but the thing is when you have Palantir or this multi-billionaire who works with Israel, who works with the US, who works with, I mean, you guys know there's cameras set up all around the world to basically track license plates. And this is what Palantir does. It's all about data collection. He said that he's all about the bag, and it would make sense, right? Being born on the 17th. I'm just going to rewind that real quick so you can kind of see. This footage is from a deleted stream.
Messiah, it's ridiculous. Everyone is in this for money.
So now seeing, what his true intentions really are. The other night, when we saw this kid, people carrying him, putting him in a car, taking him to the hospital, dialing 911 because he took too much shit, right? Nearly died. All of that was why? Because he doesn't have a personality without it. And he has to drug himself up in order to do all those live streams. Well, it turns out all of it is for money. And then him coming on, like I said earlier, telling all the people that he's here to help the kids. Well, that was for money too.
How authentic are you, 1 to 10? Probably like a 1. Yeah, I pretty much cap about everything on stream.
I mean, it could be argued. He said, how authentic is he? He said 1. He said he caps about everything on stream. That could be reverse psychology. I don't know, man. When I was 20 years old, sometimes I would just say shit. I'm not this guy, right? I'm not a 9. I'm an 11. So maybe he's speaking in different terms, but the fact that he says he caps about everything, but then he's capping about that. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep moving.
I'd say about a 1.
And now, the biggest one that he's doing for money that he doesn't want anybody to know. Remember how he became friends with
You guys don't know this.
when he first started
when you see like certain media, when people are in media, when they're recording video, when they're doing like live stuff, improv, things like that, there's certain signals. Y'all might not know this, but like there's certain signals. So you say, hey, if you're joking, wipe your nose. If you're trying to send off a certain message, touch your eyebrow. So there's certain codes that are used, just like, you have a pitcher and a catcher. And in this case, I think that Peter Thiel might be the pitcher, he might be the catcher, but I digress. Sometimes when you see people do these like things like, it could be a signal that they're being dishonest or there's something behind those words. But let's keep going. Oh, who is this? Who is this guy? Jack Doherty.
Streaming, right? Well, he wasn't just friends with him. He
His
learned
hair.
from him how to pimp girls and start his own OnlyFans agency, and he doesn't want anybody to know about it. Well, on a live stream with Ed Matthews, which of course is deleted, this is the first time I saw Clav talking about it. Well, he didn't speak about it, Ed Matthews did, and Clav got pissed. I want you guys to notice the facial gestures that Clav is making when Ed Matthews is talking about one of his biggest secrets.
The moral dilemma you have sometimes, like the OnlyFans things, they start moving reckless on stream. However,
Whoa.
with some non.
This guy is possessed. Look at his eyes, bro. This guy is possessed. I don't know who this guy is, but he's possessed. Right? I'm not like I'm not, an exorcist, but you can.
OnlyFans
Anyways.
things right now. Clav's trying to recruit them, but I mean, bro, I've been there. When I was 19, I was doing OnlyFans management.
I've been there, bro. I know. I've talked to a lot of OnlyFans girls. They make money, bro. That's why I got a little hickey on my neck.
And you know what? I just thought I'd only ever get a thing that's actually on it, because the things that don't do it, like fucking shit, you know? This guy just don't. Clav's ruthless, mate.
Batman team.
Clav will get your sister on OnlyFans, so watch out, boys.
Watch out, bro.
So clearly, he's been trying to hide it, but you only can hide things for so long without people figuring it all out, right? And girls, maybe ones that aren't happy with him, started to come out and speak out.
In a revealing live stream, content creator Livy Alex vocally criticized the contract proposal she received from Clavicular's management, shedding light on what she deemed predatory practices prevalent in the influencer economy. Livy Alex, known for her candid approach to streaming, shared the shocking details of the contract offered to her for working with Clavicular's OnlyFans agency, which purportedly included an 80-20 profit share that heavily favored the management side.
Clav's not on, so I'm here. Somebody on Clav's team offered me a contract for his OnlyFans agency. I'd rather literally myself, but that's fine.
Now here's the thing, guys. You can't trust the whore. You cannot trust the 304. So whatever she's saying, take it with a grain of salt. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. She has an OnlyFans. If she sells her body, you got to be a little bit more discerning. So sure, she said those things, but I by default don't believe her. We need receipts.
And I heard that the split is 80-20.
I heard. Oh, yeah. I heard the split was 80-20. 28, the number of wealth. Shout out GG33. Gary talked about that. 28, the number of wealth. And this is the whole thing going on in Miami. Don't you guys think that shit gets around? No coincidences.
Why? So he's like, oh, the method is you have to get on my stream and you have to suck my dick and you're gonna make 300K plus on OnlyFans.
Sneeko did it. Sneeko did it.
What type of scam of hell is that?
We can turn
cameras off for a sec.
Alright.
Oh no, my camera slipped. It slipped.
How do you even know everything about me? Are you a fan?
Well, I saw you text your
Jenny,
manager
bro.
and you get on the stream more.
I want to tell you guys, that side. I think his name is Andrew Jenick. He's looking a little small, man. We got to get him on. We got to get him on the CoreX gains, the CoreX workout program.
Do this, do that. So.
What are you talking about? Are you a stalker?
I'm not a stalker. I mean,
I'm
I
literally
work with somebody else.
Shut the fuck up before I say everything that you don't want me to say. I literally signed a class.
Like, what the hell is this
Are
bitch
you
saying?
and a half? Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, you guys. I thought we were gonna go that you don't want to say. I'm sorry. Who flew me out here? You
Sorry, a whore was 304 was talking. I almost fell asleep. But there are some. There are a nice pair of nice necklace.
Shut the fuck up. Okay. You think I bought my own ticket out here? I came here from LA. Who the fuck flew me out?
I'm not a retard.
I didn't buy it.
Well, now this is where the story gets really interesting. You guys know, if you follow him, he's been bragging on all over social media how he just bought a $5 million club. And everybody's sitting there like, how did this asshole afford a $5 million club? He's been, streaming for 4 months. Yeah, he makes money on Kick. Yeah, he makes money on Stake. Well, now you guys know he makes money on OnlyFans, but still, how did he get a $5 million club, right? Well, I'm going to show you how.
We're going to learn. Now this is where it gets really crazy because this doesn't even go into the whole Clav Peter Thiel thing. Like, we're going to get into that a little bit later after the video. So stick with the stream. I just wanted to give a shout out to the viewers right now. Numbers are rising up. I think we got 84 people on X. We're off to a good start. It's 6:38 Central Time, 86 people, 6:38 Central Time. So people are still doing their thing. If y'all are having dinner, I hope y'all, get your little TV dinner tray, set it up, watch the whole stream, tap in. We need to get some more people on chat. I want to hear from y'all because so far what's about to happen is we're about to enter the real rabbit hole. At the 10-minute mark, you can see it on the video. This is the real rabbit hole. Or if you follow Earth astrology, it is a cat hole. When I say cat hole, pause. Anyways.
Because his friend Energenic was live streaming and in Clav's house. Clav walks in the door and he says, cut the camera, shut the camera off, because he didn't want people to see who he was meeting with.
So this is Clav's friend Energenic, another asshole who got famous for doing nothing but being bald and getting his wig knocked off his head in public. Well, while he was live streaming, in walks Clav, waving his hand around like an asshole to cut the camera. And when you look behind him, you see this mysterious guy walking in the door with his Sharmuta wife behind him. And
Wait. That mysterious guy walks in with his Sharmuta wife. If you guys don't know what a Sharmuta is, I would look it up. I think John Bravo is Lebanese or something. Might be a Lebanese word. We're going to scroll back a little bit. I want you to look at this, what do they call them? Bald cells. This bald cell, his chain. Do you see that? You see the chain? Last time I checked, that chain, the theme song of that chain goes da 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 da. Shout out Heaps.
the door with his Sharmuta wife behind him and his security guard. Now this is Hiwak the guy who really owns the Baccara Club, and he came to have a secret meeting with Clav, but he's got a bit of a shady past. He's a convicted felon and rumored to be tied to the Israeli mob. I didn't even know they had mobs in Israel. What is
they
this
do.
shit?
And this is Sharon from Israel too.
Nice to meet you as well. Wow, how are you guys?
Hello, how are
What do you think? Place is looking good, right?
That's my dad.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you, sir. Clav.
An enforcer for an Israeli crime group has been sentenced to more than 10 years in.
Hold on a second. Now, I'm no X-Handshakes, but Doesn't that handshake look a little suspect? Why is he grabbing the bottom fingers, the whole thing, you know? I was in a fraternity in college, and we had like this secret handshake, this whole thing. And I'm not saying that this guy's part of the club or anything. I'm just saying that sometimes like there's certain ways to greet people that kind of say something like, "Hey, like we might know something together." But I digress.
For an Israeli crime group has been sentenced to more than 10 years in federal prison for racketeering. Hai Weknin, a 35-year-old Israeli national who lives in Marina del Rey, asked for leniency Monday, but citing his extensive criminal history, U.S. District Judge Manuel Reel gave Weknin 13 months in prison beyond the 9 years that the prosecutors were recommending. He had faced 46 counts of racketeering, extortion, conspiracy, and other charges stemming from an alleged scheme to hide money embezzled from an Israeli bank by loaning it out.
Wait, hold on. 6'7". 6'7". What I wanted to point out is he said it was like 9 years. It was supposed to be 9 years, but it was like 13 months. And it was for the Ninth Circuit, and clavicular's a 9 life path. Are we schizomaxing right now, guys? What do these numbers mean? I don't know. Let's keep rolling.
To hide money embezzled from an Israeli bank by...
Oh, here, let's go back. Let's look at this. Now, look, it's not schizomaxing, friends. What it is it's just kind of being aware of what's going on. The Matrix, it'll send you messages, right? So the Matrix is going to send you some messages, and it doesn't mean that this is like some grand conspiracy or anything. It just literally means how this whole system is set up. Numbers show up and they tell you something. So that's an interesting license plate number, if you ask me. You see, you got the 11 at the back end right there. It could be something going on, man. There could be something going on. That whole thing, you added across 1 + 6 + 6 + 8 + 1 + 1. That's 23, which is a 5. 23 is a 5. Like I said, like math is weird sometimes. 23rd, the number 23 is the 9th prime. 20th prime, and 9s always follow 5, right? 9s always follow 5. Again, homage, Gary. I think you just talked about that on one of the last streams. Clav is a 9 life path. Matrix. The Matrix is talking. The Matrix is talking, friends. Unmatched perspicacity.
Embezzled from an Israeli bank by loaning it out in Miami and Los Angeles.
All the rumors are true.
Hold on. It gets even better, guys. The Matrix is talking to us tonight. It gets even fucking better. And you cannot make this shit up.
Are true.
What?
Me in Los Angeles.
What does that say right there? 9. The word 9 is in this MFer's name. I'm not trying to get demonetized. The word 9 is right there.
All the rumors are true. And officially say I was a part of one of the biggest real estate deals in Miami recently. Multifaceted. You know, it includes hospitality, includes clubs and a restaurant. You know, so there's a lot of different entities involved, but I have a lot of different properties now in Miami Beach.
So Clav, saying he bought that club for.
I fell asleep. Maybe it's the tism. Sometimes it puts me to sleep when people have that tism in their speech. Talk like a 3 or a 33 or a 5 or an 11. Just don't talk like this and. Sorry, guys, I'm being a
$5
bully.
million. We know that load of bullshit. All these assholes say the same story. They get a Lamborghini, they show it off online, saying it's theirs. Meantime, they fucking rented it. So we know all this same song and dance, right? And High has owned that club, Bacara, for years. It's been around for a long time. So saying that, maybe Clav, was promised a percentage of the company. Maybe Clav gave some money in, but he's not telling the full story. But I want you guys to think about something. For High, right, the club owner, and his restaurants and his other businesses, he gets Clav in. What is he getting? He's getting promotion. He's getting Clav, bringing all his sharmutas over there, advertising it all on social media. It's actually a smart move by him. And then for Clav, he's not even 21 years old. He wants to go to a club. It's a pain in the ass for him to run around doing all this stupid shit in. Well, now he owns a club. He's going to make money on the club. And then also think about something else.
Yeah. So kick chat. Brain said, always the 11s to stir up emotions. Entities or entity. Yeah, I mean, the 11s always stir up emotions. I mean, that's kind of what we do. You call them like the master gaslighters at times, but it's all done in good faith, right? You're an 11, you can be volatile sometimes, but what we're doing is we're stirring up the emotions here, right? Be an 11, connect like a 2, win like a 1.
He scouts all his sharmutas for the agency.
Sharmutas.
Well, now he's got a perfect place to do it. But saying that, seeing the history, criminal history of who he's associated with, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with it. So I've spoken about this before. I've been up financially in life. I've been down a lot financially in life.
John Bravo, he said he's been up financially in life and down financially in life quite a bit. Okay, that's interesting. The thing is there's no public record of John Bravo's date of birth. We have September 17th, 1978 as his birthday. I don't know if that's accurate. So who knows?
But when I truly think about my life, right? The happiest times weren't when I had the most money. In fact, it's probably when I didn't have the most money because I had the best people around me. I didn't have all these bloodsuckers trying to get shit from me, right? So Clav, living this whole life, being so obsessed with making all this money and bringing all these people around him, I wonder if he truly thinks that this is going to be what makes him happy. So he's willing, and like he said, do anything for money. We already saw him overdose, right? And almost die. He got arrested. What else is going to happen in his future? Because he thinks this is the key to life, making money and doing anything for it. And I want to leave you off with something to think about. This piece of shit, right? He's so selfish, so greedy. He's willing to do all this stuff, show all this shit online, lead this example, and not give a shit what kids may want to follow in his footsteps.
I mean, in letterology, like another interesting thing in letterology, just the word looks maxing, that's 11. It reduces to 11. It's 56. So, I mean, it does really stir up a lot of emotion with people. People really do get triggered from the whole looks maxing thing, right?
Let me know what you think.
All right, so it says, so chat, it says right here, according to the HSI agent, the WAC 9 brothers, who both have several felony convictions, were known to develop connections affiliated with the Mexican mafia in SoCal, as well as connections with historically black gangs, including the Crips, whom they use as enforcers and collectors for their own extortion schemes. The outlet Poker News reported. news. Okay.
And babe, you know this new studio move?
Hey, that was lit video. I'm not gonna lie, man. I like kind of how he went through everything, and he went into how he got that club, right? We talked about Bakara, Clavicular, born on the 17th, now is a co-owner or an owner of a club called Bakara, which Bakara in letterology equals 17. No coincidences. We saw kind of these connections with the nines and everything. It goes deeper, guys. It goes real, real deep. Chat, if y'all want to chime in, ask some questions, I want everybody, now is a good time. If you're on YouTube, if you're on X, I would definitely go to Kick. So check out the Kick stream, tap in on Kick. We're going to go into the next segment. Now, the next segment, this is where it gets a little crazy. This is where we're really going to explore the numerology, where we're really going to explore the astrology, where we're going to look at the letterology, where we're going to tap into the actual conspiracy theories, the rumors between Braden Eric Peters and Peter Thiel. Peter. We got two Peters hating each other. And if you guys don't know that, Peter is slang for pause. Now, what I did was I spent some time and I did a ton of research. I looked at maybe 71 different sources. I said 71. 71 different sources on Mr. Thiel and Mr. Peters. And what came to fruition were some really interesting things, because now we start to see how this rise to fame happened and how this billionaire that deals with defense and surveillance and data, known as Mr. P, or known as P, as he likes to call himself in Clavicular's chat, we're going to find out how that happens. Now, by the way, we talked about Peter's, right? Peter is kind of like a penis. It kind of looks like the number 1, but in letterology, the word Peter equals 28. So Peter Thiel has his middle names. It's Peter Andreas Thiel. Then you have Braden Eric Peters, which is Clavicular. They both have that Peter in their name, which is 28. Let's go into the next video. This is original content by your boy right here. And we're going to tap into it. I mean, I really don't need to say a ton about this, but I'm going to let the video speak for itself. And then we'll kind of go over each section as we go through it. But this is the real deep dive into the Clavicular Peter Thiel files. So let's get it rolling. Let's go ahead.
Let's get right into it. We're looking at a hidden architecture, a cipher that connects tech billionaire Peter Andreas Thiel.
Real quick, mods, can you hear the video? And can you see the video? Does it look
And
good?
the looks maxing influencer Braden Eric Peters, who you probably...
Yeah, I mean, that's about as loud as the volume's gonna go for this. Let me see if we can enhance that volume over here. Let's see if we can bring this up a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna just have to let it ride.
know as clavicular. Now, this isn't about some surface-level online drama. We are going way deeper. We're going to follow 3 completely distinct lines of investigation that all point to a single, undeniable conclusion. So think of this analysis as a kind of forensic triangulation. We've got the material evidence. That's the money, the ideology, the behavior. Then we have the astrological framework. And finally, the numerical cipher itself. Now, each one of these streams is totally independent, but as you're about to see, they all flow to the exact same place. You always follow the money, right? So let's start there. In Clavicular's very first week on the streaming platform Kick, a mystery donor known only as P drops over $150,000 into his account.
E. Now, this is important, guys. This whole thing we're talking about P.
Right out of the gate from
This
day
is
one,
important.
that's the financial baseline.
Now the subtitles. I mean, y'all gonna have to turn subtitles on if you're on Kick, if you're on YouTube, if you're on X. See if y'all can turn subtitles on. I don't have subtitles right now, so what we're looking at right now. There was somebody that was on Clavicular's stream earlier, and he got these donations from a guy named P. Right? He dropped a bunch of donations, and it added up to the total of $150,000. That's a lot of money. Let's go into it, guys. We're going down. This is the rabbit hole section. This is the rabbit hole right now. So we're gonna have to spark one up for this one. So if y'all are listening, if y'all are ready to tap into the whole conspiracy rumors, we got about 7 minutes and 30 seconds left on the video. Let's spark this one up and let's see the rabbit hole.
And trust me, that was just the appetizer. Over the next 3 months, the estimated total from this one entity, P, balloons to $500,000. Look, that kind of money isn't just a fan throwing some support. That's strategic. That's an investment. And this money, it wasn't just digital. It bought real-world access. Peters himself bragged about getting an invite to a party at an $11.5 million Hollywood Hills mansion, a property that's widely known to be in Peter Thiel's portfolio. You see the pattern here, right? Financial backing leads to social access, which, as we saw,
$11.5 million mansion that Peter Thiel owns. Now, Peter Thiel, he's born on the 11th of October.
with his Cybertruck crash, seems to come with a nice side of legal protection. So who are the two people at the center of this web? On one side, you have Peter Andreas Thiel, the billionaire, the investor, the co-founder of Palantir, a guy who is obsessed with a post-human, tech-driven future. And on the other side, Braden Eric Peters, the Gen Z streamer, a cultural vector, really, whose entire job is to deliver a very specific ideology to millions of young guys. And don't think for a second this is random. What you're looking at here is the ideological architecture. It's a pipeline. There's a documented flow of money and influence that starts with Thiel, the financer. It moves down through theorists like Curtis Yarvin, to political assets like J.D. Vance, to propagandists like Nick Fuentes.
Now, he's moving a little quick. I'm going to slow this down, put a 0.75 so you can listen a little bit closer. One thing I did want to mention is I said it before, the word looks maxing in letterology, that reduces to 11. That equals 11. Now, Clavicular, he's been going by the name Clav recently. Like, he introduces himself as Clav. Clav in letterology also equals 11. Okay? So let's just again, it could be intentional, but it also just could be the Matrix doing Matrix things.
And then finally, it gets to cultural vectors like Clavicular, who repackage the core message into something that can go viral. So what's the delivery vehicle for all this? It's looks maxing. And you gotta understand, this isn't just about guys trying to look better. It's an entire operating system that gets its followers comfortable with the basic ideas of transhumanism. It conditions them to see their own natural body as just flawed hardware that needs extreme upgrades. It's the perfect gateway drug for an ideology that wants to get rid of biology altogether. Now, let's get into the behavioral evidence. This is where it gets really telling. During a paid $15,000 interview with Michaela Liu, the second the name Peter Thiel comes up, the whole thing just implodes. Look at the sequence. The question is asked, Peters absolutely panics, he kills the interview, and then he immediately tries to flip the script, accusing her of being funded by Thiel and screaming for receipts.
Now, if you guys saw that, there was an interview with Clavicular and this girl, Michaela Mika. She goes by Mika. Shout out to the name Mika, by the way. She basically accused him of being in cahoots with, or cahoots in this case, with right? Once she called that out on that specific interview, Clav had a conniption fit. If you guys don't know what conniption fit means, it just basically means cortisol maxing.
For someone whose entire brand is built on this image of untouchable confidence, that kind of panicked, totally disproportionate reaction, well, that is the evidence. The reaction itself becomes the signal. It tells you everything you need to know. Okay, so that's the material world. Now we're going to pivot. Let's look at the second stream of evidence, Earth astrology. THIEL, born in 1967, he's a yin fire goat. In this system, the goat is the classic patron archetype. He's the quiet strategist, the one pulling the strings behind the scenes. And Peters, born in 2005, he's a wood rooster, the showman, the performer, the one who needs to be in the spotlight.
And what do you call somebody who needs to be in the spotlight, somebody who always wants to show themselves out publicly? We call it peacocking, right? That's even like old school red pill PUA, and I think PUA might have been part of the whole like looks maxing thing. I don't know. But when you peacock, a peacock is a bird just like a rooster. It kind of lines up with him also being a rooster. And you see right there, he's got the 5 on the back end, and fives are good looking. Now, let's go back to Mr. THIEL over here. The goat, right? The goat is the 8th sign in Earth astrology. So it almost makes sense that this alignment of him getting his money, kind of staying low key. Nobody really heard from Peter Thiel up until recently. He did the Joe Rogan podcast. He's talked publicly about how he thinks that death is evil. He doesn't believe that we should actually die, that we should pretty much biohack our way to live forever. And it's interesting because you have Clavicular who is trying to do that. He wants to look young forever. He's promoting all these experimental drugs like peptides, things like HRT. It's almost like this might be a good way to soft disclose and say, hey, let's get the youth more familiarized with trying to change our biology. So eventually we could step in to a phase where we're using medical interventions and technological interventions, which is exactly what Peter Thiel talks about, which is exactly what he is trying to do with his message and how he's moving forward. Now, I want to get into the fact before we move on with the video. What we're looking at here is we're looking at the goat funding the rooster, right? The goat is funding the rooster. Now, the life path of Peter Thiel is an 8. And 8s are the CEO. 8s got that money. What do 8s do? What do successful 8s do? They fund people. You know, if an 8 gives money, it will receive the money. That's basic. It's karma, right? That's how they achieve power. That's how they get to these levels. And then you have the 9, which is clavicular. The 9, in clavicular sense, 9s are always trying to fit in somewhere. Right? They're kind of like a mirror. They take on the people around them. And clavicular being born on the 17th, which is an 8, it would only make sense that he's following the money and he's doing it by means of peacocking.
And you know what? The data confirms this dynamic perfectly.
So Q, shout out Q app. The Q app went over an entire compatibility of the two. And we're looking at business compatibility here. This is one of the most valuable things that you can find, especially in the, the occult, the energetics of numbers and numerology and astrology, is the compatibility, because we are nothing without other people, right? What we can see here, I'm going to go ahead and read this. This is straight up from the Q app. Again, if y'all want to sign up, I highly suggest you sign up for the Q app. Use my code CORE. That's CORE, code CORE. You get 10% off. Now, what does the compatibility say about Mr. Thiel and Mr. Peters? Well, the communication pattern. So when it's speaking about you can be charismatic and persuasive, this is talking about clavicular. You can be charismatic and persuasive. Clavicular is blunt and doesn't soften things. That combo works fine when things are calm. When there's pressure, he can be diplomatic. That can clash with their directness, and it gets uncomfortable fast. So he'll want to smooth things over as it's called out. So pretty much what this is saying is there may be some sort of clash at some point once he rises up to fame. I mean, we all know kind of how it works. If you're tapped into the whole numerology space, you know how sometimes nines can get into certain spaces, and then there's a clash of ego, and then it's nuclear, right? Now, the operational pressure points. This is talking about Peter Thiel. Thiel goes in, he wants structure and control. When a project hits turbulence, the two of them will want to handle it completely differently. This person's ego, which is clavicular, and the stubbornness, which is Thiel, these are both real factors here. So neither of them back down easily in terms of business and pressure. And that can make some sort of conflict, and resolution might not be quick. It might be a little messy. Now, let's look at the long-term potential. It can work if they both stay in their lanes. The clavicular is going to handle the big picture and take the risks. And he might actually execute and look into the details. But when the roles are clear, they both can complement each other well enough. So there could be competition for control, but second guessing, that actually might happen. And we saw the second guessing happen. There was a clip of clavicular where he was on his phone and he was like, "Hey, have you guys heard of Peter Thiel?" And they're like, "Oh, that's like a billionaire." Where he's like, "Oh, guys, is this Diddy? Is this Diddy?" There's a second question. Let's go back to the video.
According to a CU compatibility analysis from GG33, the goat and rooster combo isn't about being best friends. It's a functional, top-down working relationship. The rooster is fast and reckless. The goat is slow, methodical, detail-oriented. And as the report says flat out, this can work if you stay in your lanes. One guy sets the vision, the other one executes. And that brings us to the main event, the centerpiece of this whole analysis, the third stream of evidence.
Let's fucking go. Now is the time, people, to really tap in. I mean, I know y'all tapped in, but like now's the time, have your take a hit of your blunt, take a hit of your bogey, have a sip of your whiskey, or maybe you're not into that. Eat a sandwich, eat a slice of pizza, not that kind of pizza, right? Pause, just something. Sit back, relax, and let the numbers do the talking.
This is where the patterns stop being subtle and become impossible to ignore. We're moving from the material and the astrological into the numerical code that's literally embedded in their identities. And let me tell you, the numbers don't whisper here. They scream. So here it is, the complete numerical data, side by side. On the left, you've got Peter Andreas Thiel, life path 8, day born 11, maturity 8.
Yeah, W stream, right? W stream in the chat. Shout out to the chat. W audio. It does, yeah, it does. It does. It always starts and ends with the money. I definitely agree. I definitely agree, Ocean. Um, it does sound like she's seducing us, the one speaking. I figured, we listened to John Bravo. We gotta listen to an AI lady speak. Don't worry, guys. This AI lady, she's a 7 life path.
On the right, Braden Eric Peters, life path 9, dayborn 8, maturity 9. Just at a first glance, you can already start to see the echo.
So I would say fuck all that noise at the bottom, the maturity, the soul's urge, the personality. That's like that it's gonna throw shit off. Don't worry about that. What we want to look at, we want to look at the life path. We want to look at the day born. Now, you see that little cross parallel right here? This is what I'm talking about. Now, this is where the money is, right? This is where the money is. And this, the 11 and the 9, this is where the volatility is. This is where the charisma is. This is where the reach is, the global reach. Okay? This is where people start looking into the mirror, right? Because 9s can be a reflection of the people around them. So what do looks maxers do? They look in the fucking mirror. Does it make sense?
The reflections between their charts. Okay, but look right here. This is the cleanest link you will ever see. We call this
Sounds like a
the
value growth.
metaphysical handshake.
So we're gonna call this the metaphysical handshake, right? That little handshake that Clav did with one of them boys. It looked like this. This is an important part because it's gonna go over the relationship between the 8 between the
Peter
two of them.
Thiel's life path number, the number that represents his entire purpose in this life, is an 8. The number of power, of structure, of big money. Braden Peters was born on the 17th of the month. And what's 1 plus 7? It's 8. The protege's day of birth literally mirrors the patron's life mission. It's unbelievable. And if you thought that was wild, it gets even more precise. When you run their full birth names through Pythagorean letterology, which assigns a number to every letter, you find something that is a statistical near impossibility. Both Peter Andreas Thiel and Braden Eric Peters calculate to the exact same expression number, 81.
So what our 7 life path AI lady is telling us right now is in letterology, which is when you assign letters to numbers, vice versa. If you take both of these gentlemen's full names, and I say gentlemen very lightly, take it with a grain of salt. When you take both of their full names, add it across, shout out viewers, by the way, you're gonna get 81. And what's 8 plus 1? That's 9. What's crazy about the 81, right? Because it's a 9 that has the 8 energy inside of it. And it also has the 1 energy inside of it. So what is that? 8 is the CEO. 8 is the karma. 8 is the money. 8 is power. What's 1? 1 is the masculine energy. 1 is the assertive type of individual. It's the initiator. It's the leader. It can be aggressive. And this is an aggressive combination when you have 2 of these together. The 8 and 1, these numbers, they're very similar, but they're very different. But when they can cohesively work together, that's when stuff gets crazy. Now, both Braden Eric Peters and Peter Andreas Thiel equal 81, which is a 9. And seems like Clavicular, who is a 9 life path, is doing pretty well with this deal monetarily at the moment. Do you think Peter Thiel knew about the deal? Let's find out.
Which reduces to a 9. It's the same numerical fingerprint hidden in their names. And look, this isn't just us doing the math. A compatibility analysis confirms this powerful connection. It shows that their shared 9 destiny numbers create a natural match. The system itself recognizes the innate structure.
Yeah, I don't know about all this bullshit, right? I don't know where this came from. This is AI. We're using the Q app. What it's basically saying is they both have a 9, and the birthday number that also matches as well.
Natural resonance between them. It's not forced, it's just there. So let's zoom out and visualize this. Think of it like a constellation. This number 9 energy, which is all about endings, completions, and karmic cycles, it creates this powerful web between them. You've got 4 distinct points of contact here. Thiel's letterology connects directly to Peter's life path, his own letterology, and his maturity number. It's a perfectly closed circuit. And it's not just what their numbers are, it's when. The timing is perfect. According to numerology, Thiel is deep in his 4th and final pinnacle, a major life cycle that's all about building a lasting legacy.
So we're not going to get into this. But Peter Thiel, he's at a point in his life right now, right? Where it's all about him building his legacy. It's all about him putting in this work and expanding on this structure. This might be important. Let's tap in.
And at the exact same time, Peters is in a personal cycle that is all about getting maximum visibility and growing his audience. The patron is building the foundation while the proxy is broadcasting the message. So what does all this actually look like in the real world? It's a direct mirror. Thiel's Life Path 8 is the archetype of the empire builder, the financier, the guy who designs the systems. Peter's Life Path 9 is the finisher, the warrior, the karmic agent who shows up to execute the plan and complete the cycle that the 8 started. The guy who designs the systems. One design.
Yeah, chat. I don't know what this is. These are pretty cool cartoons, but what she's trying to say is that Peter Thiel is setting up his whole vision of transhumanism, of biohacking, of avoiding death, of trying to slowly manipulate the youth to think it's okay to take these certain interventions to get to the point where the global population can be changed. Because as said before, Thiel said death is evil. That's what he thinks. He is essentially admitting to being a vampire. This is what a lot of these elites are. They are vampires. Their whole thing is to live forever. It doesn't matter if they want to use blood transfusions with their son, shout out Brian Johnson, or if they're using peptides or stem cells or research chemicals. And I'm not saying anything. There's some great peptides out there. There's some great medical therapy. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I know people that have really made some, really, really good improvements in their life with things like stem cells and peptides, but it's a gateway drug to something like a chip. You don't think Peter Thiel and his people are also working on a chip congruent with, Musk and all these other, let's call them tech oligarchs? He is. So it doesn't seem so bad if you're a looks maxer and you start when you're like 15, 16 years old and you're taking a hammer to your face, right? You're injecting yourself with all these different types of research chemicals and you're trying to get different surgeries and Botox and you're doing acid chemical face peels. When it gets to the point where Peter Thiel pushes his narrative and they're like, hey, wait, you don't have to do any of that anymore. Just take this shot. Just implant this chip and you'll be youthful. You'll look great. You'll live forever. I mean, shit. All right, no more bone smashing. let's do that. So the ultimate goal is getting softened by the small little steps in the process, and money is being made in the interim. Let's
For the
go back.
weapon, the other one is there to pull the trigger. And so here we are, the point where everything converges. We have followed 3 totally separate streams. The material evidence, the money, the ideology, the panicked behavior. The astrological evidence, the functional patron-performer dynamic. And finally, the numerical evidence of the cipher itself, the shared numbers that lock their destinies together. Look.
Hey, shout out X. You can see it on the screen. Shout out to my viewers on X. Y'all are the real VIPs right now. I think we got like 128.
Each one of these streams, on its own, is pretty compelling. But when you triangulate them, when you lay them on top of each other, they stop pointing to a coincidence and they start pointing to a conclusion. This is not an accident. This isn't 2 orbits just happening to cross. This is a designed pipeline, and it was engineered for a very specific purpose. Which leaves us with one final thought. You've got 3 independent occult systems: astrology, numerology, and the esoteric flow of capital, and all 3 are describing the exact same structural arrangement. Why? Because the underlying pattern is the truth, and there is one core principle you have to remember. Energy never lies.
Yeah, shout out Notebook LM on Google. Notebook LM, quite the app to use. It does quite well, man. It can. So let's go ahead and quickly breakdown of what we just realized, right? We saw the numerology of THIEL and clavicular. We saw the Earth astrology, right? Their zodiac signs in the Chinese system. We looked at their names with letterology. We saw all these different correlations and connections. But I'm going to say this right now. It goes way, way deeper. And we're going to save that for another time. We'll go into some other type of content moving forward. Hold on, we froze. Looks like we froze. Looks like we may have froze. Here, let's bring it back. All right, chat. We got W camera. W camera right now. Chat. W camera. Okay. All right. So what we were looking at here was a whole different breakdown of the thing. There's a really good infographic that I had posted on my X. I think y'all should look at. Now it breaks it down a little bit better. But there was something that was really important before we go into it. It's the concept of clavicular being a Trojan horse entire system. So what is CLAV? CLAV is the Trojan horse right now for THIEL. And the whole concept is to push transhumanism. What is transhumanism? It's something that pulls us completely away from what we are as a species. And how is that done? It takes time, right? And it happens over time. It's fire a lot of things that can kind of like soft disclosure everything out just like peptides, just like looks maxing, just like all of these as such. Now we're going to check out the infographic real quick. And a couple other things that really really kind of made sense here is that I can't plug it in because I'm gonna lose the screen if I. So we're gonna close the stream out in just a couple minutes here. I just want to show this photos so y'all can see. Go to my Twitter and down you'll see the post that you can tap in. 150K, 500K, 280K, 11.5 million, 15K. Looks maxing is essentially the Trojan horse in this. Looks maxing is a Trojan horse to transhuman. One thing that you learned today, if there's one thing that you learned in this entire lesson, is that who you see online, they're known as, they're following code CORE on Q, went up for 10 off, GG33. Make sure you tap in with your boy CoreX, and most importantly, stay on point. I'll see y'all in the next stream. Peace.